business decisions really have to do with picking people. You know, deciding to go into partnership with Paul Allen is probably at the top of the list. And then subsequently hiring a friend, Steve Ballmer, and having somebody who you totally trust, who's totally committed, who shares your vision and yet has a little bit different set of skills, and also acts as a check on you. You know, some of the ideas you come up with, you run by them because you know they're going to say, hey, wait a minute, you know, have you thought about this and that? And just, you know, the benefit of sparking off of somebody who's got that kind of brilliance, it's not only made it fun, but it's really led to a lot of the success. So picking a partner is crucial. I'm in meetings a lot. My calendar gets very full with those, and then at night on email a great deal. I get messages during the day, that's my chance to give long responses, and then over the weekend I send a lot of mail as well. I take 2 weeks a year to just go off and read and think, where I'm not interrupted by work or anything else. I'm just solidly trying to think about the future, and people get to send me things to read as part of that so-called Think Week. So it's a nice mix of things. About 25% of the time then I'm out traveling around, meeting with customers, Europe, Asia, and that sort of helps me think, okay, do we have the right priorities? What are people responding well to, and what would they like to see us do better? A small number of people that you can turn to on certain key things is a great asset. Fortunately, people know that wealth is dedicated to the foundation, and so if they have ideas that are in the foundation's area, infectious disease, improving education, then it's super interesting to have them talk to me or talk to those people. I have the benefit of being well known, so I can go out and meet interesting people and, you know, share my views and get a lot of attention. I'd say net that's a benefit. When I'm out with the kids, then it can be, you know, a tiny bit of a drawback that you may not get as much privacy as you'd like. Mostly I love software. I do remember at the private school I went to, there were other kids whose families were better off, like they had a Porsche or something, but it wasn't that big of a deal. My thing was that I just loved doing software, I loved hiring people, and I was stunned when it ended up being so valuable. Because I always had to be careful that we wouldn't hire too many people. I was always worried because people who worked for me were older than me and they had kids, and I always thought, well, what if we don't get paid? Will I be able to meet the payroll? So I was always very conservative about the finances. And then when we did go public, what was I, 30 by then I was kind of stunned at what it multiplied out to. I love my work. The work of the foundation is super interesting. I get to meet with the scientists. I get to go out in the field. I do think your habits are sort of set in your 20s and 30s. And by my standards of the 20s, you know, I didn't believe in weekends back then, not to mention vacations. So I'm, you know, fairly lazy compared to myself in my 20s, where I was a true fanatic. You know, all I believed in was working on software. I'm very lucky that my foundation work, the part-time work I do for Microsoft, I see that extending, you know, for decades into the future. And having an understanding of innovation, you know, I think shaping innovation in many of these areas, there is a unique role that I can help play. Well, look, Elon has tons of money and he's very sophisticated. So, you know, I don't worry that, you know, his Bitcoin will sort of randomly go up or down. I do think people get bought into these manias who may not have as much money to spare. So I'm not bullish on Bitcoin, and you know, my general thought would be that, you know, if you have less money than Elon, you should probably watch out. Look, there are things we invest in society that produce output. Bitcoin happens to use a lot of energy. It happens to promote anonymous transactions. They're not reversible transactions. The Gates Foundation does a lot in terms of digital currency, but those are things where you can see who's making the transaction. So digital money is a good thing. and there's a different approach that's local currency and attributed, and deals with all the money laundering and terrorism type regulations, and yet gives you the very the convenience and the low cost of transaction.